Stay with us. Coming up right after the news and the weather, I'll be talking to Windsor musician Rick Rock. He becomes Freddie Mercury this weekend in a special concert benefiting autism. We'll hear about that. Well, that is a Queen song, but it's not Queen performing the song. It's local singer-songwriter Rick Rock. Rick has been plying his musical trade for decades now, but he has gained a lot of attention for his portrayal of Freddie Mercury, the late lead singer of Queen. In fact, Rick was in the running to become a guest vocalist with the real Queen a few years ago. Rick and his band perform regularly as Simply Queen, and this Friday night, Simply Queen is performing at the Chrysler Theatre with an 8 p.m. start time. The show is titled We Will Rock Blue, and that is in honor of autism. And the concert this Friday is raising awareness and money for autism in Windsor. This afternoon, Rick Rock joins me in the studio. Hello, Mr. Rock.
How you doing, Bob?
Yes, I don't even want to talk about the name. I know it's a real name, but I know a lot of people wonder if did you just add that name to become a rock and roll singer?
That's my real name.
But I know that's your real name.
You know that.
You have been playing around town in various bands for years. When did you decide that you were going to put together a Queen tribute act?
Oh, I thought about it a few times in the last 20 years, and I guess that when the tribute acts type of thing, entertainment is getting more and more popular in Canada. It's been very popular in Europe and Australia and a few other places. In Canada and the United States, they've kind of shunned the, unless you're an Elvis tribute.
Right.
Elvis has been...
You can get away with that.
Sort of. So now there's, Elton John and everybody else.
Everybody.
So I figured I've been into Queen since they started and saw them in 1975. And I just thought they were just amazing and just a little bit extra entertainment there than most bands were given, So.
Absolutely. When did you start playing, by the way? As a musician?
Around 8 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. You seen an uncle play guitar or something. You see the James Brown and the Elvis songs and that, and the Beatles. When the Beatles came on, I guess that's all of it, and that was it. I was like 6 years old, I think.
Did somebody tell you, hey, Rick, you should do Freddie Mercury? Did somebody say that to you? Or
a couple of the people and friends have been saying that, hey, why don't you do a Queen tribute? And so I says, I don't know. I've been trying to make it as a songwriter for many, many years, and I started out seeing other people in town. I mean, I followed you. I was watching you when you were on stage. I think at the Sandhill I saw you first. Yeah, Bob Steele and his band, and I thought you were great.
Yeah,
so.
no, thank you very much. But now you're dating me, sir.
I am dating you, yes. Well.
But I'm wondering though. I mean, you have an appearance that is somewhat similar to Freddie, and yet you have a voice. I'm just wondering, were you doing Queen songs in your just regular bar bands?
Bar bands, just like any other song, we'll do a Bob Seger, the Eagles,
sure. And somebody said, "Wow, you really nailed that one," or
it said, "You know what? Maybe you should do more." So I was doing a few more songs, and it is very, very tough. Very, very tough.
I'm going to ask you about how tough it is, or how you learned to become Freddie Mercury. But was there not a family member as well that encouraged you to do this?
Yes, my cousin Bobby.
Tell me about Bobby.
He was probably my closest relative as far as a cousin, and he just lived next door to us. And we're very close, just like brothers, And I have an older brother, Mike, too. But he was like a brother to me. And we grew up together, and we saw Queen in
the 75 show?
2 or 3 times,
yeah.
75, 76, 77 when they were coming and that. And but Bob got sick when he got around 30 years old or so in that, and he passed away, and he encouraged me to do the Queen thing, and he met Freddie Mercury at the Toronto Zoo. With another friend of his, and they just happened to be on tour in about 1980, and so Bob took some pictures of his friend and with Freddie and another shot, and I kept those pictures.
I've seen those pictures.
And no one's seen these pictures for over 20 years, and after Freddie Mercury passed away, and so my cousin Bobby died within about a year and a half of Freddie Mercury.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But it was of AIDS,
it was of AIDS, yes.
And so that brought it home.
Right.
Or how much more did that mean to you in terms of doing Freddie Mercury?
Well, because before, it was just when he was getting very sick, he said, I've got a couple of pictures. He didn't show me these pictures before. He just said, you know, and he showed me these pictures, and I said, you're kidding me, you're holding on to these. I said, no one's ever seen these pictures before. He said, I want you to have them. So that was an inspiration. And then within the picture, and Freddie's entourage, the band's wardrobe assistant and do-all type of guy off stage was Peter Freestone. And he's in the picture, obviously, as a younger fellow there. So I got to meet him in 2010 at this Queen convention. I was invited to do the North American Queen convention when it was in Michigan.
To perform? To perform.
Wonderful. And Peter Freestone was there. He flew in from Europe. So I met him, and I had the pictures. I brought the pictures with me. I said, you know, I was kind of nervous. You know, I was with my wife, Carol, and we're saying, you know, and it was very friendly. He says, so what do you got? I says, I've got a couple of pictures of you when, you know, you were young and you came to Toronto. And my cousin Bobby, actually, Bobby met, somehow he got in some of these parties of Queen, because he was just good at getting in, you know, just like getting on the Boblo boat when he was 5 years old, and just, you know, getting in the circus by smiling at someone nice. Yeah. He just had that charisma too. So he saw Peter Freestone in Detroit when they toured one year, in Toronto, and in L.A. Bob was working in L.A. for a while, and I asked Peter Freestone, have you ever met my cousin Bob Steele? And he says, it looks familiar. He looks familiar in that. He says, but he says, we meet so many people on that. But he says, sort of him and his friend David and that, you know, it's just, but he was very taken from me giving him the original pictures, you know, and someone was saying, you could sell those pictures, you know, now that, you know, all these pictures of Freddie has been exhausted. Of
course, yeah, Freddie's gone.
Know? And I said, no, Peter's in this picture, and my cousin Bobby's, I feel his energy saying, you know what, you know, it belongs to him in there and that. And then I did the show there and that, and I started up with a band, and I tried a band here in Windsor and that, and everyone was so busy and all this stuff, and it just didn't work out. And at the same time, all of a sudden, I get this call from Toronto. Someone heard about me in Toronto. Said, why don't you audition with, there's a band, and there's a guy that's been in We Will Rock You. He's one of the guitar players in We Will Rock You. And
which was, of course, the Queen musical, We Will Rock You.
Right, and he's touring right now with them. And this week, he's off this week. And it's great because we're in Windsor.
You got the show Friday night.
So,
well, I'm going to ask about a couple of those things. So, I mean, so certainly tell me, I mean, how closely do you study someone like Freddie Mercury, because he has such a unique voice?
You have to study, you know, you have to actually see where he's come from and that. And, you know, he was that, people don't realize how great a piano player he was and songwriter. And everyone in that band is a songwriter. Even the bass player go, well, John Deacon, who's this guy? He wrote another one, Bites the Dust, and You're My Best Friend. He wrote some big songs. So everyone in that band was a songwriter. But Freddie he improved so well in the early 70s, and he was out to be a legend.
Did you have him right away, or did it take time?
No. It's still work in progress, and I'm buddy on Facebook and a few other emails through 3 or 4 other impersonators of Queen in Australia and Europe and that, and we're all encouraging each other, you know, because we want to share this great music and how great Freddie was, you know, as a singer, piano player. You know,
not just as a singer. Yeah, talk about the entertainment. Talk about the movements. You've got to become Freddie Mercury. You know, so again, this is
some of it's my own, and some of it is with Freddie.
But there's some iconic movements that Freddie makes that you have to.
Absolutely. And when they started doing stadiums where they're not in North America, when around the world, you know, in Rio and everything, you know, and they were now playing. It's not the 5,000, 20,000, they're playing to 100,000, 200,000 people a night. So every movement in the air, every little thing was amplified to reach everybody. You know.
So, what did you discover something about Freddie that really surprised you? Did you do this research?
Not really. It's just how much of an entertainer, how much he really put out for every single song. Even the simplest songs, I mean, it is a challenge to sing and to perform, and okay, this is what I've got to do in this song and to reach. So it's pulling that source from him.
You know what I'm curious about, though, Rick? And it comes down to a physical thing with Freddie Mercury. There's no doubt anybody who knows him and knows the picture of him knows that he had kind of a buck tooth.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You don't.
I have big teeth, but yeah, go ahead.
You put prosthetics in, don't you?
Sometimes I do, yes.
But the point I'm getting at is that do you have to learn how to sing differently because you've got a different mouth?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's tough to use the teeth.
Because the expression of the words is going to be different than you would.
Here's another cousin of ours, same family with my cousin Bobby, Kathy Pupatella, who works at a dental office. She was like encouraging me so much. She had the dentist make them for me. There's another sponsorship, but everyone is encouraged. It was like, the puzzle was there, everyone was saying, so I've got to do this.
Yeah. And you mentioned the band, you mentioned your guitar player in the musical We Will Rock You. It's about Queen, the music of Queen, but of course what I'm getting at is that the band has to be as sharp as those players were. Absolutely, and they are. I mean, if Brian May is hiring Bob to do We Will Rock You, and the drummer is a musical talent. He's a director, and he's is a teacher of music, and the bass player tours with all kinds of different companies all around the world. Yeah, pretty impressive band. How many shows do you do as Simply Queen? Well, Bob's been on tour, so we've been laying off. We recently have a sub for him, if, when we come in and out and that, and Wayne's filling in for him on some shows and that. But and we also add another fifth piece to the band sometimes, some of the shows, because Queen in the 80s they had songs that had more keyboards and a few other things. So, but mainly it's a four-piece band, and we have a fifth when we need it. Work a lot? Pardon? Work a lot as Simply Queen? We're getting the calls now I just talked to people from Newfoundland this morning, and Saskatchewan, around the Toronto area. These guys are from Toronto, so we're working around that. We've got some Niagara Falls date. We just got, so it's starting to build. How do you feel when you're doing Freddie Mercury? When you're on that stage and you're doing that music and being that persona? It is. It's very challenging, but it's so exciting to do. You can see the people in the songs. They just get up. They just get up on their seat. Well, doesn't hurt that you're playing some great music, does it? There's certain songs, you know yourself when you've played a song. Hey, we need a song to get people on the dance floor. I'm not sure what song it was for you, but there's certain songs that are just they get Motown, My Girl. If that first couple notes gets people excited or up the dance, and it's like Queen has at least a dozen of those songs. What's the connection to autism? Of course, this concert is in benefit of autism. Right. I do have a friend, Scott Rollins, who's helps promote some of our shows. He's done a show with us in Chatham also, and we got some other ideas to work with him. And he's part of the autism committee here in Windsor, Essex County. And he wanted to put this show together, and he said we should do this because autism has the gala every year here, and it's a big gala that they have at Kubota Club, and there's about 1,000 people doing that. And they have a couple other things, but we thought a concert would be really, really neat. And he's going to do that every year. So We Will Rock Blue will be every year. It won't be with the Queen band every year. It'll be with something else, but it's a great concept. But you're kicking it off. And blue being, the color of the symbol of autism, for the ribbon and however else they use it for. So it's wonderful. That is Simply Queen Friday night. What would Freddie say to wrap things up? Did Freddie have a goodbye phrase? Cheers, everybody. Cheers, everybody. That'll do it. Rick, good to talk to you. Thanks so much. Okay. That is Rick Rock. He is Freddie Mercury, and the Queen tribute act Simply Queen. We Will Rock You Blue in support of autism is scheduled for this Friday night at the Chrysler Theatre. The show starts at 8 o'clock, and guess what? We've got one pair of tickets to give away right now. We're going to do it by phone. All you have to do is be the fifth caller. Remember, this show is Friday night, Chrysler Theatre in Windsor, 8 o'clock. Please don't call unless you know you can attend. For your chance to win them, be the fifth caller to our studio right now, 519-255-3543. That's 519-255-3543.